All right, let's talk about machine learning. You hear this term thrown around all the time, right? It's powering so much of our digital world, usually in ways we don't even see. But what does it actually mean? How in the world does a machine learn? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how this incredible technology works.
You know that feeling? You just finished binging a series and bam, Netflix or whatever service you use serves up a suggestion that is weirdly perfect. Or how does your map app know, like, down to the minute how long it's going to take to get to work? Is it just a really, really good guess? Or is there something else going on?
Yeah, it's definitely not magic. The secret sauce behind all of these crazy smart predictions is machine learning. It's the engine that makes so much of the tech we use every day feel so intuitive, so helpful. And okay, sometimes just a little bit like it's reading your mind.
So what is this stuff really? Well, at its heart, machine learning is a kind of artificial intelligence. But here's the key difference. Instead of a programmer sitting down and writing code for every single possible scenario, which would be impossible, we give the computer a whole bunch of data and let it figure out the patterns for itself. You know, it's like the difference between giving someone a very specific recipe versus letting them learn how to cook just by tasting thousands and thousands of different dishes.
Okay, that sounds cool in theory. But how does that learning part actually happen? What does it even look like when a machine is finding patterns? Let's actually get into the mechanics of it.
Probably the absolute best way to wrap your head around this is to think about how a little kid learns about the world. You don't sit a toddler down and program them with the rules for what a dog is. No way. You just show them examples. You point and say doggy over and over until they finally get it. Machine learning works in a surprisingly similar way.
And the process itself is pretty straightforward. First, it all starts with data, and I mean a ton of data. Let's say millions of pictures of dogs. Then we feed all of that data into what's called an algorithm, which is just a fancy word for the set of rules on how to learn. This is where the magic starts. The machine starts to find patterns all on its own. You know, common things like 4 legs, a tail, fur. Then you got to test it, right? We show it a brand new picture it's never seen before and ask, hey, is this a dog? If it gets it right, awesome. If it gets it wrong, that feedback helps it get better. It refines its own understanding, what we call the model, making it smarter and more accurate every single time.
So that's the basic recipe for learning. But, just like people, machines have a few different learning styles. Let's take a look at the 3 main ways they can do it.
First up, you've got supervised learning. This is basically like studying with flashcards. You show the machine a picture of a cat, but you also give it the label, this is a cat. You show it a dog picture, and you label it dog. All the data has been pre-labeled by a human, the teacher. The machine just learns by studying thousands of correct examples. This is perfect for stuff like filtering spam emails, because we already have tons of emails marked as spam or not spam.
Next, there's unsupervised learning. Now for this one, imagine giving a kid a giant, messy box of Lego bricks and just saying, sort these. You don't give them any rules. They just start making their own piles. Maybe they'll group them by color, or by size, or by shape. That's unsupervised learning in a nutshell. We give the machine a bunch of unlabeled data, and it finds its own hidden groups and structures. This is super useful for things like figuring out different types of customers for a business.
And last but not least, we've got reinforcement learning. And this one is all about good old trial and error. It's exactly how you learn to play a video game or ride a bike. The machine tries something, and if that action gets it closer to its goal, it gets a little reward, like a point. If it messes up, it gets a penalty. So over millions and millions of tries, it figures out the absolute best strategy to get the most rewards. This is how AIs learn to become grandmasters at super complex games like chess and Go.
So we've got these different ways of learning, but this isn't just some abstract computer science concept. So where do we actually see this stuff in the real world? Well, it turns out this technology is baked into the things you use every single day. The real answer is pretty much everywhere.
Seriously, just look at your phone. When your navigation app tells you your trip is going to take 27 minutes, that's not a guess. That's machine learning analyzing live traffic data from thousands of other phones on the road. Or how about when you take a photo and your phone immediately asks, tag this friend? That's a model that's been trained on hundreds of pictures of your friend's face, so it can recognize them in a split second.
And it's working behind the scenes for you all the time online. That spam filter that keeps your inbox clean? Classic supervised learning. Those recommendation engines on YouTube and Netflix? They're basically using unsupervised learning to group you with people who have similar tastes to find your next favorite show. And maybe most importantly, your bank is using it to learn your normal spending habits.
so it can instantly flag a transaction that looks suspicious and protect you from fraud.
Okay, that was a lot. We've covered how machines learn, the different ways they do it, and where it's hiding in plain sight. So let's just boil this whole thing down to one single important idea.
So if you remember one thing, it's this. When you strip away all the science fiction hype, machine learning isn't about thinking robots. It's a process. It's a really powerful method for making computers amazing at a specific task by letting them learn from experience, from data, instead of needing a human to program every possible move.
And that really brings us to the big, exciting question. From helping doctors diagnose diseases earlier to composing brand new music, this ability for machines to learn is unlocking things we couldn't have imagined. It's already changed our world. So the only real question left is, what will they learn to do next?